Hello there, welcome to Midday News on Rajya Sabha Television with me Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us start the news at the top of this hour with the headlines. Interest rates on small savings schemes are revised up to 0.4% for the third quarter of current financial year. PPF scheme rate revised to 8%. Sukanya Samruddhi account scheme will fetch 8.5%. Vice President invites a Romanian businessman to partner with India in its exciting and transformative journey to address Indian community in Romania today before concluding his three-nation Europe tour. Civil Aviation Ministry seeks report from aviation regulator DGCA for report on Jet Airways incident. Several passengers on flight from Mumbai to Jaipur on Thursday suffered nose and ear bleed after crew reportedly forgot protocol to control cabin air pressure, crew being derostered. US praises India for counter-terrorism action in its annual country report on terrorism, says Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba outfits continue to pose regional threat. And Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe wins a re-election as leader of his ruling party, sets him on course to become Japan's longest-serving premier. Our top story this afternoon, the government has announced a revision of interest rates for small savings schemes for the third quarter of the current financial year 2018-19. Now, the revision of interest rate will start on 1st of October and end on 31st of December this year. The interest rate for one-year time deposit has been revised to 6.9%. And that of a 5-year recurring deposit has been revised to 7.3%. Public Provident Fund scheme interest rate has been revised to 8%, and Kisan Vikas Patra has been revised to 7.7% with a maturity in 112 months. And that of a Sukanya Samruddhi account scheme has been revised to 8.5%. The Employees State Insurance Corporation on Wednesday approved a new scheme called as Atal Bimit Vyakti Kalyan Yojana, which would pay cash relief to insured persons during the period of unemployment. The proposal scheme was approved in the ESIC board meeting that was chaired by Labour Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar in New Delhi yesterday. The scheme is a relief payable in cash directly to the bank account of insured person in case of unemployment and while they search for new engagement. The scheme would benefit insured persons covered under the Employees State Insurance Act of 1948. The ESIC also approved the proposal for relaxing eligibility conditions for availing super speciality treatment from earlier insurable employment of 2 years to 6 months with contribution or requirement of only 78 days. It has approved the proposal for increasing also the funeral expenses from the existing 10,000 rupees to 15,000 rupees being paid on the death of the insured person. On to some other news, President Ramnath Kovind has signed the ordinance banning the practice of instant triple talaq. The President's signature has come after the Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved the triple talaq ordinance, making the practice a penal offence. The ordinance was made necessary after the amended draft bill failed to clear Rajya Sabha in the last session of Parliament amid a disagreement within parties. And Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad appealed to the opposition parties to rise above vote bank politics and support the bill.
The Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved an ordinance to ban the practice of instant triple talaq, making it a penal offence. After the Union Cabinet meeting, Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said there was a compelling necessity to bring an ordinance as instances of talaq-e-biddat continue unabated despite the Supreme Court striking it down and Lok Sabha having passed the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill. The bill is awaiting passage in Rajya Sabha. The minister informed that instant triple talaq cases reported between the period of January 2017 to September 13, 2018 were 430.
There was a compelling necessity to come with an ordinance there was an overpowering urgency to come with an ordinance. दुनिया के 22 इस्लामिक मुल्कों में 3 तलाक को नियंत्रित किया गया है, लेकिन भारत ऐसे सेक्युलर मुल्क में बड़ी संख्या में हमारी खवातीन बेटियों बहनों के साथ नाइंसाफी हो रही थी.
Under the proposed ordinance, giving instant triple talaq will be illegal and void and will attract a jail term of 3 years for the husband. Under the ordinance, the crime will be recognized only when the woman herself or her blood relative files a complaint against the husband. The case may be dropped if the duo reaches a compromise, but only if the wife approaches the magistrate. The magistrate can grant the accused bail on reasonable grounds, but only after hearing the wife. The wife will be given custody of the child and is entitled to maintenance decided by the magistrate for herself and her children.
सोनिया जी, ये अध्यादेश देश हित में लाया गया है. सोनिया जी, ये अध्यादेश देश की नारी के इंसाफ के लिए लाया गया है. मैं आपसे अपील करूंगा कि वोट बैंक की चारदीवारी से ऊपर उठकर इंसानियत और इंसाफ के लिए आपका समर्थन हो.
The opposition took a dig at the government and called the move pre-election politics.
अगर व्यक्ति जेल चला जाएगा तो उस गरीब असहाय मुस्लिम महिला को भत्ता कौन देगा, उसके बच्चों का खर्चा कौन देगा, उसकी रोजी रोटी चलाने का खर्चा कौन देगा. इसलिए कानून में इस संशोधन को हमने सुझाया था, पर मोदी सरकार इसे राजनीतिक फुटबॉल अधिक और मुस्लिम महिलाओं के साथ न्याय का मामला कम बनाना चाहती है.
The bill to criminalize talaq-e-biddat was passed by the Lok Sabha in the winter session of the parliament last year, but got stuck in Rajya Sabha with the opposition parties raising reservations over the criminal provisions in the draft law. As per the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill 2017, triple talaq in any form, spoken, written or by electronic means such as email, SMS and instant messengers are declared illegal and void with a punishment of up to 3 years in jail for the husband. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs on Wednesday approved the revised cost estimate of the project to improve the safety of 198 dams across the country. The revised cost has now been pegged at 3,466 crore rupees. Originally, the total cost of the project was 2,100 crore rupees, with the state component of 1,968 crore rupees and the central component of 132 crore rupees. The scheme envisages comprehensive rehabilitation of 198 existing dam projects located in Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Jharkhand and Uttarakhand. The project will improve the safety and operational performance of selected existing dams and mitigate risks to ensure the safety of downstream population as well as property. The CCEA, headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, also approved an increase in the honorarium for the Anganwadi and Asha workers effective from next month. Anganwadi workers receiving 3,000 rupees per month will now get 4,500 rupees per month. Similarly, those at mini Anganwadi centers receiving 2,200 rupees per month will now get 3,500 rupees. The honorarium for Anganwadi helpers has also been increased from 1,500 rupees to 2,250 rupees per month. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by Prime Minister Modi, has also given its approval to increase the routine and recurring incentives under the National Health Mission for the Asha workers from 1,000 rupees to 2,000 rupees per month.
आंगनवाड़ी वर्कर्स का पहले अनुरोडियम था 3,000 रुपया पर महीना, अब ये बढ़कर हो गया 4,500 पर महीना, तो पूरे 1,500 रुपये की बढ़त हुई है. और आंगनवाड़ी वर्कर जो है, जिसको हम मिनी आंगनवाड़ी सेंटर भी कहते हैं, वो पहले 2,250 मिलता था उनको, अब वो बढ़कर 3,500 हो गया है. और जो आंगनवाड़ी हेल्पर हैं, जिनको सिर्फ 1,500 मिलता था, उनको भी 2,250 मिलेगा.
Now on to news on the Vice President's Europe visit. M. Venkaiah Naidu has invited Romanian businessmen to partner with India in its exciting and transformative journey. He said this while addressing the India-Romania Business Forum after holding bilateral meetings with the President, Prime Minister and interacting with the presidents of both the Houses of Parliament. The Vice President said that India-Romania annual bilateral trade has risen to $810 million in 2017-18, a 40% increase over last year when it was $575 million. He termed it a huge development in bilateral economic relations and said that there is a need to sustain this momentum. He said that India's economic transformation in the recent past presents fresh opportunities in multiple sectors for Romanian entrepreneurs. The Bucharest Chamber of Commerce for Romania also signed 3 MOUs with the leading Indian chambers of commerce CII, ASSOCHAM and PHD-CCI to pave the way for greater and better exchange of information and cooperation in the trade and investment sectors.
India has opened up. Foreign direct investment is totally allowed in almost all the major sectors. And then public-private partnership is the way forward, allowing the private sector to participate in a big way. The third one is special purpose vehicle for each of the projects, important projects, is another initiative. The Prime Minister of the country is a reformer. He gave a 3-line advice to the entire country. He said reform, perform and transform. Transformation of the nation. That is his ambition. That is his mission. And he is doing it with all conviction and perfection. That the opportunities that are available in India. Some of you have already have experience, but your experience in the coming days will be better because we have learned by experience. We have also followed the best practices followed by others. And then this ease of doing business and also giving priority to the approvals, that is going to make all the difference.
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also held delegation-level talks with the Prime Minister of Romania, Viorica Dancila, on Wednesday and said that the economies of India and Romania complement each other. Vice President Naidu also said that a planned cooperation can lead to faster growth. The talks focused on strengthening trade and investment in sectors like ICT, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, infrastructure, logistics, agri-foods and tourism. An MOU on tourism was also signed between the two countries, and matters like enabling easy air travel access, hassle-free facilitation of visas to promote people-to-people contact and business were also signed during the delegation-level meet.
Our cooperation can lead to faster growth of our economies further. We intend to deepen and diversify economic and technological cooperation between our countries. India-Romanian annual bilateral trade has risen to US $810 million in 2017-18, a 40% increasing over the last year.
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also conveyed India's perspective on international terrorism, climate change and other global issues during delegation-level talks with Klaus Werner Lohannes, the President of Romania, on Wednesday. And during his interaction, the Vice President stressed the need to have strong people-to-people links that he said were pillars in any bilateral relationship.
On the first day of his visit to Romania, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu called on the country's president and discussed crucial matters including trade, economy, international terrorism and climate change, among other global issues.
The morning's talks with the Honorable President and his delegation were very meaningful and very productive. We acknowledge the long-standing excellent relation between India and Romania, reviewed bilateral and multilateral cooperation, and reaffirmed the mutual desire to comprehensively strengthen our partnership across the political, economic, science and technology, culture and people-to-people domain. We focused on strengthening our trade and investment.
After the meet, the Vice President said that ease of mobility is a strong parameter for assessing the depth of any bilateral relationship. He further added that India will encourage Romanian nationals to use the e-visa facility.
I convey best wishes for the upcoming presidency of Council of European Union in January 2018. Romania has emerged as a respected leader in the Balkans. We appreciate Romania's spirit to succeed and have faith in its efforts for a better tomorrow. I am glad that we agreed that we shall work towards enhancing already excellent trade relations. I am also glad that Petroleum University of Policia, Romania and Pandit Deendayal Upadhyaya Petroleum University, Gandhinagar, Gujarat, signing an MOU for capacity building and mutual trade. We have to create the needed atmosphere and global consensus to fight terrorism, which is a menace for the humanity.
Both countries aim to boost economic, commercial and cultural relations with this high-level meet. The last high-level visit to Romania from India was in 2005, when the then Vice President Bhairav Singh Shekhawat visited the country.
The Vice President of India and the President of Romania held delegation-level bilateral talks in the Romanian Presidential Palace today. Both the leaders discussed matters relating to tour, trade and agriculture. Both the leaders recognize that terror is the enemy of the world and have decided to scourge all form of terror. With camera person Raj Thakur from Romanian Presidential Palace, Raj Kamal Rao, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in midday news, we'll slip into a very short break here. News and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. On to the other big story this hour. Civil Aviation Ministry has sought a report from the aviation regulator DGCA on the Jet Airways incident. Now this after a Jet Airways flight from Mumbai to Jaipur on Thursday turned back midway after 166 passengers suffered nasal and ear bleeding. The crew forgot to select a switch that helps maintain cabin air pressure during takeoff. Now, in a tweet, the ministry also said that the crew is being derostered. Now, according to Jet Airways spokesperson, out of the 166 passengers on board, 30 passengers suffered ear and nose bleeding and others complained of a headache. Meanwhile, the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau has said that the DGCA would look into the incident first and then a decision would be taken on whether the matter should be referred to the AAIB.
फ्लाइट टेक ऑफ होने के बाद शुरू में ही इसमें एयर कंडीशन सिस्टम पहले डाउन हो गया और उसके बाद उसका जो एयर प्रेशर सिस्टम था वो डाउन होने की वजह से तुरंत ऑक्सीजन मास्क नीचे आ गए और पैसेंजर्स को कहा गया कि आप सब ऑक्सीजन मास्क से सांस लेना चालू रखें और ये एक ऐसी स्थिति थी कि बहुत सारे लोग उसमें दिक्कत महसूस कर रहे थे। कुछ लोगों को नाक से ब्लीडिंग भी हुआ और सांस लेने में बहुत दिक्कत हो रही थी, सर में बहुत प्रेशर हो रहा था और करीब 1 घंटे के बाद ये फ्लाइट फिर से बॉम्बे में इन्होंने लैंड करवाई।
They have been examined by the doctor at this moment and most of them would have some amount of mild conductive deafness for some period of time till the problem in their ear or nose gets resolved. The doctors are looking at it, they are doing whatever tests are required including audiometry. At this point of time nobody needs to be admitted.
And the Supreme Court today extended by 3 months the deadline given to the Enforcement Directorate to complete the probe in the Aircel Maxis deal case. However, the bench said that the probe should be completed in 3 months. Additional Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, appearing for the ED, had said that the agency needs some 2 to 3 months to complete the probe, as it needs to confront some of the accused with several emails. The apex court, remember, had in March given the Enforcement Directorate a 6-month deadline to complete the probe in the case. The ED is probing a money laundering case in the Aircel Maxis matter arising out of the 2G spectrum cases. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone of India International Convention and Expo Centre in New Delhi today. Now, releasing a statement, Commerce Ministry said that the facilities provided at the centre will be on par with the best in the world in size and in quality, offering settings for international and national events, meetings, conferences, exhibitions and trade shows. The project is planned over an area of 221.37 acres in Dwarka at an estimated cost of 25,703 crore rupees. And IICC will be an integrated complex with facilities like exhibition halls, convention center, open exhibition spaces and retail services and high-end offices. The convention center will be developed in 2 phases. Phase 1 and 2 will be completed by December 2019 and December 2024, respectively. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeking the resumption of a dialogue between the two nations. Now, Khan has sought a meeting between Foreign Ministers Sushma Swaraj and Shah Mahmood Qureshi on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York later this month. Now, Khan's letter was in response to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's own communication to him seeking a meaningful and constructive engagement between the two neighbors. And the US has said that Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist groups continue to pose a regional threat in the subcontinent, and that Pakistan did not adequately address America's concerns on terrorism in 2017. In its annual country report on terrorism for the year 2017, the US State Department has said that although Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan and Pakistan has been seriously degraded, the remnants of its global leadership as well as its regional affiliate Al-Qaeda in the Indian subcontinent continue to operate from remote locations in Pakistan. The report notes that despite Donald Trump administration placing a pause on spending new foreign military financing for Pakistan from August to December 2017, Pakistan did not adequately address US concerns, and that several terrorist groups focused on attacks outside of the country continued to operate from Pakistani soil in 2017. The report also said that almost 59% of all the terrorist attacks in 2017 took place in 5 Asian countries, including India and Pakistan. It further said that the total number of terrorist attacks worldwide last year decreased by 23%. Our top international focus now. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe won re-election as the leader of his ruling party. Now, Shinzo Abe, who surged back to power in 2012, defeated former Defense Minister Shigeru Ishiba in the Liberal Democratic Party leadership election. Shinzo Abe secured 553 votes from lawmakers and party members as against 254 votes won by Ishiba. The win also sets Abe on course of becoming Japan's longest-serving premier. Now, if Abe stays in office through November 2019, he will have exceeded the 2,886 days marked by Taro Katsura in the early 20th century. Let's get all the sporting action now. India defeated arch rivals Pakistan by 8 wickets in the ongoing Asia Cup at the Dubai International Stadium yesterday. Chasing a target of 163 runs, the men in blue comfortably clinched the victory with 21 overs to spare. Openers Shikhar Dhawan and skipper Rohit Sharma gave a solid start to the Indian side. Sharma scored 52 runs while Dhawan contributed 46. And after the departure of the openers, Ambati Rayudu and Dinesh Karthik steered India to victory. Earlier, batting first, the Pakistani side was bundled out for just 162 runs in 43.1 overs. Babar Azam was the highest scorer for the Pakistani side with his knock of 47 runs. And for India, Kedar Jadhav and Bhuvneshwar Kumar picked up 3 wickets each, and Jasprit Bumrah took 2 wickets. And in today's match, Bangladesh will take on Afghanistan. Both Bangladesh and Afghanistan defeated Sri Lanka in their respective opening matches. And speaking about the women's matches, well, Indian women's team defeated Sri Lanka by 13 runs in the first T20 international of the 5-match series in Sri Lanka yesterday, chasing a target of 169 runs. The Sri Lankan side were bundled out for just 155 runs in 19.3 overs. Ishani Loku was the highest scorer for the Lankan side with a knock of 45 runs. And for India, skipper Harmanpreet Kaur was the pick of the bowlers as she took 4 wickets. Earlier, batting first, the Indian side posted 168 runs on board for the loss of 8 wickets in their allotted 20 overs. J. Rodriguez smashed 36 runs off 15 balls, and she struck 3 sixes in an over to become the first Indian woman to do so, while Tanya Bhatia was the highest scorer for India with a knock of 46 runs. Now, the second T20 will be played in Colombo on Friday. And ace Indian shuttler PV Sindhu entered the next round of the women's singles in the China Open Badminton Tournament. PV Sindhu defeated Busanan of Thailand 21-23, 21-13, 21-18 to move to the next round. In the men's singles, Kidambi Srikanth entered the pre-quarterfinals. Srikanth defeated Denmark's Rasmus Gemke 21-9, 21-19 to set up a clash against Supanan Yu Sanan of Thailand. While another Indian in the fray, HS Pranoy, bowed out of the tournament after losing his match against Hong Kong's Nang Ka Long 21-16, 21-11. And the mixed doubles team of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Ashwini Punappa today will take on a Chinese duo of Zheng Sui and Huan Ya Qing in the second round. And that's the wrap on this edition of Midday News. Thanks for watching.